It was a wet, cold and windy day in England, and me and Lee had dreams of staying inside for a movie marathon by the fire. But I have 2 horses, so that can stay a dream. Hello everyone and welcome to today's video, in some hardcore weather conditions, where I take you through a lazy Sunday with me, because what better day to have a lazy Sunday than a rainy Sunday? We've had some pretty torrential rain in England recently, which may deter some people from venturing outside, but not as equestrians. Instead of staying inside, me and Lee's first task of the day was dropping off some feed we bought for the boys at the yard. So after checking the boys' field to see if it was suitable for some thoroughbred shenanigans, and deciding maybe it wasn't up to Reggie's clumsy antics on this day, we decided to put the boys into their new field, which is much closer to the yard and much drier and definitely a little bit more Reggie proof. Now, I live a 2-minute walk from my yard, but on this particular day, we drove to the yard. But I mean, can you blame me? I really didn't fancy the walk down, and when you have a car already loaded with feed, why not? And of course, I was greeted by the cutest yard dog in the world, if I do say so myself, who always makes me feel so special and so loved. He is just the friendliest thing ever, and I'm very grateful for his daily greetings. My next move was to go and say hello to Reggie, who was pretty keen that he'd seen the car. Now, he only really sees this car when there is a feed delivery, so he likes the look of it. He was definitely interested. It is then time to see the sassiest donkey and the only donkey on the yard, King Teddy, and as ever he was a very sassy boy. He was telling me exactly what he thought, exactly where he wanted to be stroked, and of course Buddy came to say hello with me. And then it was time to see the main man, Bugsy, who had been waiting for me to say hello to him for the past 5 minutes while I was saying hello to the others. And I did feel kind of bad, but he does need to wait his turn sometimes. I think he needs to be reminded that he is not an only child anymore. The feed I got today was Reggie's Ease and Excel feed from Bailey's Horse Feed. Reggie gets fed this just to help him keep weight on, keep his stomach nice, comfortable, and I also bought him a supplement for his stomach. I've noticed when I'm touching it recently, he's a little bit sensitive, which isn't like Reggie. He's a very sweet horse, so I've decided to put him on this supplement to see if that helps, and if not, we will get some professional help for him, because my main aim with Reggie is to keep him comfortable and keep him happy. Bugsy, of course, just gets his happy hoof. He only really gets fed happy hoof because he is quite a good doer. He doesn't need much more than this. He gets a couple supplements as well as this just to keep his feet nice and healthy, keep him happy and healthy. But that's all he needs really. He is a cob, he's very hardy, and then Reggie gets a little bit of his happy hoof as well, just to pad out his food, and they both get water in their food, just to make sure that they're not gobbling it too fast. Before the boys go out, I make Reggie a quick feed. Reggie needs to be fed a bit more than Bugsy because he does need a little bit more help with his digestion than Bugsy, so he does get fed more. Unfortunately, Bugsy does not have 2 feeds a day, because he does not need them. He's not stabled right next to Reggie either, so it's not like I'm being mean and Bugsy has to watch Reggie eat. It's just they're very different horses and they need very different things to function. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say that as a rider, giving myself time off on days like the day this was filmed used to be so hard. I feel like I had to go out and ride when really I just didn't want to. I'd feel so guilty giving my horses multiple days off in a row and would really wind myself up about it. If you're like me, here is your daily reminder that it's okay to have a day off, 2 days off, a week off, or even more. We are all out here trying our best, and sometimes our best is giving the horses their daily care and calling it a day. Don't feel bad about not riding, because the way I see it, we all need to put our mental health first a little bit more and listen to our bodies when they are telling us no. Respect that and try again another day, because there is always another day. Plus, I don't think the horses mind a day off either. On days like today, a task that I really love to do for some odd reason, and please tell me if you do this too, is clean my tack. So I loaded my tack into the car, ready to give it a good scrub when I got home after putting the horses out. By this time, Reggie had finished his meal before going out, so I grabbed his bucket, took it out his stable, slipped his head collar on, and walked the boys out. Luckily for me, Bugsy and Reggie get along really well and let me lead them both together. This saves me so much time on work mornings, and I'm also super happy they get along, as sometimes they do have a long day together when I'm at work, and I'm really grateful they can spend that time together and have some fun, because let me tell you, these two are a very mischievous pair and love to run around, even if it does make my heart beat a little too fast sometimes. If you don't follow my Instagram and have no idea what I'm talking about when I say I'm at work most of the time, I'll give you a quick rundown. I work as a digital marketing apprentice, which is literally my dream, and I love applying it to my YouTube channel and other social media. I find it so interesting, and I'm actually a real sucker for numbers and analysing how and why things work the way they do. This unfortunately means I'm away from 8 in the morning till 6 at night, Monday to Friday, so my pony time is limited during the week, which is why I'm really looking forward to lighter nights in summer so I can get a little bit more riding done and enjoy these two a bit more. Although I'm sure, by the looks of it, they are loving their winter break and actually may not want to come back into work in summer. But anyway, enough about me and my job. Let's get back to our rainy Sunday. The boys have been put out. They are loving life, they're eating grass, they're rolling, they're running around, and it's time for me and Lee to head back to the house with our car full of tack, unload it and get some tack cleaning done. So today I thought I would not bore you with the entire fleet of tack to clean, because I think that would be a very, very long video, and maybe I will do that in the future, but definitely not in this video. I thought for this video I would show you how I clean one of my bridles, and the lucky bridle was Reggie's bridle.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking.
Here we are back in my kitchen, and my cat is sat on my chair, so Lee very kindly removes him for me and gives him a quick cuddle before we get down to business. Things I use for tack cleaning: I use some leather soap, I use very simple things actually, some leather moisturiser, otherwise known as leather balsam, a sponge, and a cloth and a towel, and that is it. That is all I use, and of course a bucket filled with water, but I feel like that's a pretty obvious one. First things first, I undo buckles attached to my bit. I've always done it this way, I don't know why. You can do it other ways, but I start at the bit. I will remove it. So cheap pieces of reins detached from the bit, and then the bit will go in a bucket of water. The cheap piece buckles are so hard to get off. I find they go so stiff, and that shows I really do need to clean my bridle a little bit more. But a trick I use is to push the buckle the other way a little bit and then pull it up, if that makes sense. I'm sure I will do a more in-depth video into this one day, but for now, watch the magic of editing as it cuts out 5 minutes I was struggling with one of these buckles. With my bridle now dismantled, it is time to get down to business. I soak my sponge in a bucket of water and then get a lot of tack cleaner lathered onto it. It is soap, so you do have to kind of rub it in. And then I will lather my tack with soap, make it nice and soapy, get all the dirt off it, all the sweat that's gathered on it, and just make sure it gets that perfect clean. I do make sure to really go for it with the soap. This can make your tack a little bit drier, but the process, you have to trust the process, because we will fix all this with the balsam in good time. But for now, we tack clean, we get all the soap off it with a wet cloth and then a dry towel. I don't know why I do it this way, I just do. It's just a thing. I find tack cleaning such an important part of my riding life. Mainly it gives me a chance to check my buckles, make sure all the stitching is right, it's not going to come apart when I'm riding, because that would be my worst nightmare, especially with Reggie at full gallop, because he is an ex-racer, and he may be an ex-racer because he was too slow, but he is certainly not slow by any means, so it's very important for me that my tack is intact. So I will use the opportunity of cleaning to check it, make sure the thread's okay, make sure the leather's not cracking, make sure it's nice and soft and supple and comfortable for the horses as well. Sweat can damage the tack, and it will damage your tack if you don't clean it enough, so it's really important to make sure you do get the sweat off. After every ride is good, but if you can't do that, maybe once a week cleaning your tack would be quite a realistic aim. I know I do this because I work quite a lot, but in summer I will try and wipe my tack down after every ride, just with a damp cloth, just to keep it nice, make it last longer, and save some money, because who doesn't want to save money? But just as long as you're keeping your horse happy and comfortable, and you're making sure you're keeping yourself safe, that's all that really matters. After cleaning all my tack with my tack soap and sponge and washing off my sponge, it is time for the finale. Let's get this tack moisturised, looking shiny, and give it those finishing touches that we all love when we tack clean. It is time for the moisturiser. So I make sure to really rub this into my tack to make sure it is getting in the leather, moisturising it, keeping it supple and nice and soft. I clean my bit after this. I do a time lapse of this. I use my fingers to clean my bit, so it does take a little while, making sure all the grass is out of it, the ring is moving nicely, there's no sharp points on it, comfy for Reggie's mouth. Before it is time to put my tack back together. Now I've tried to make this video so it shows how to put a bridle back together, and I really hope it helps some people, because I know when I first started, especially when I first got Bugsy, I had no idea. I watched so many YouTube videos, so I really hope this helps. For me, I'm a visual learner, so I learn by watching people do things, people showing things at different angles. So I've done this in the style of a visual learner, but I will talk you through it as well, just to make sure you know exactly what's going on, because sometimes I don't really know what's going on either. The brow band goes over the crown. For Reggie's bridle it will go on top of the crown, but for some other bridles it will go under the crown. There tends to be a little dent or a loop that you would loop the crown through, or when you first get the bridle, just check if it's on top or under the crown. Cheek pieces you put on, you make sure they are towards the front of the horse's head. The strap at the back is for the throat lash. I promise I will go more in depth into this one day, how to take apart and put a bridle back together, because it's hard for me still sometimes. Sometimes I look at things and I'm like, how? Time to put the bit on. Make sure the bit is smiling. It needs to be smiling in the horse's mouth, not frowning, to make sure it is comfortable for the horse and comfortable for you as a rider when you're sat on them and they're telling you that something isn't quite right. So as you can see there, the bit is smiling. It's in a smiley face, not a frowny face. And last but certainly not least is the reins. I just put these on a bit behind the cheek pieces, and these will allow me to have a little bit of control over the two lovely lads I am riding. And that is it. That is Reggie's bridle, all clean and shiny, and it is so satisfying. I will definitely do a video on how to take apart and put a bridle back together one day, because I really have skimmed over it today, and there's a lot more things I could go into depth about, which I would love to do, because I know how confusing it can be, and I just want to help you guys. Hi everyone, so that concludes today's video. We are now back with the horses. They are either side of me, they have followed me and my camera all around the field. Bugsy is actually getting dangerously close to the tripod, so I'm going to wrap this up very quickly. But thank you for watching. It's now a very sunny day, which is ironic because this was a rainy day video. And now, when the sun is shining, it is time to finish our day. Oh, Bugsy! Anyway, Bugsy is very close to the camera now. He's almost a cameraman. So before Bugsy knocks my camera over, I will conclude today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you all next week. Bye!